welcome to the Great Asnet channel. Yes, we are in Lusail Boulevard. We've come to see the food Qatar International Food Festive Show. Yes, this is where we are. Welcome, guys. Guys, this event took place on March 11th to Tuesday, March 21st. Yes, that's when it happened. So, this event normally happens every yearly, yes, here in Qatar, and it normally happens in March or just before they start the holy month of Ramadan. Yes. So, this event is a Qatar International Food Festival. Yes, it normally happens outside the park. Yes, out there, and the one that happens out there in the park, I feel it is more lively than this one, but it's anyway where it is whichever way you see it. But from me, yes, as from my take, that is how I see the one that was happening before was more lively than this, because this one it's in a closed place, so you just walk in the boulevard. As you see the kiosks from different countries with different type of food they're serving, and if you want to test them, yes, you purchase your food and you go on, you sit somewhere and you enjoy your meal. So this event was having lots of things going on. We had VIP lounge, we had VIP sections, we had Qatar Airways cooking theater, we had food and related workshops. Yes, we also had kids activities, we had veterans sections, we had roaming activities or acts, we had fireworks. Yes, we had lots of things to enjoy, and the most of it is to eat. The most of it was to eat. Yes, you take your food, whichever country you want to taste the food, you take the food and sit down, enjoy your meal. Yes, that's how it was, and it was very enjoyable. Actually, every activity is enjoyable. Yes, it doesn't matter where it is, it doesn't matter how, but it is enjoyable because this was happening outdoor. Yes, activity.
For 300 grams Bologna. 110 grams butter, unsalted butter, 120 grams vegetable oil. Any vegetable oil can be I will use tonight canola oil. You can go with the corn oil at the store. I want to talk about cooking. I always prefer to make cake and rice. It's not just the black but the sapphire flour. If you want to serve it, has to be the room temperature. I will use lavanda tonight. You can go also
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just tweak your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite.
Nah, Brenda.
Restaurant meat, fresh orange, chai, coffee, cappuccino, latte, americano.
up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body.
Yeah, so if you want to know more about the chef, you're more than welcome to join me all the way to the cooking section, because now we're going to have a session at the same time we are walking, we can get entertained with DJ Denver. Yup!
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time.
Yes. Thank you, DJ. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to Qatar International Food Festival. You know, for unfortunate reason, only today and tomorrow we only have Bas Yomen. Khalas, game over. But who knows, we might extend it. But all of you visiting today gives a very great positive impact for the company, and of course for us to do this on a regular basis and per year. Why not, right? It's always nice. Today, with no further ado, we're gonna introduce you right now to one of our greatest celebrity chefs. And if you've been flying between Qatar Airways, going and coming to Malaysia and stuff, you would sometimes taste the food in the aircraft, correct? In case you were economy, business, or first class. For some reason, you are eating from the hands of the chef that is gonna come right now. So, why not? That's a pure, great opportunity right now to meet the chef. So, with no further ado, let us welcome right now, all the way from Malaysia, please put your hands together for our celebrity chef for tonight, Chef War!
Hi. Selamat malam. As we say, good evening, everyone. Apa khabar? I have to hear from Malaysia. Apa khabar? Yeah. When I say apa khabar, it's how are you? And they said fine. So anyway, thank you for introducing me. So good to see everybody today.
You too, Chef.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So have many of you been to Malaysia? It's a beautiful country. Of course, beautiful people like me. I once used to be quite beautiful, but now I'm 65 years old, so all wrinkled a bit, you know. So I went behind to put a bit powder so it looks better, huh? Not bad, huh? So anyway, you know, today we're going to prepare two recipes. And this is one of my favorite recipe because it comes from my great-grandmother. And this is a simple noodle soup we call laksa nyonya. And I'll tell you later the history behind the nyonya name and the Peranakan cuisine. And then we're going to do also one dish today. It's a lamb dish with a bit of also Arabic influence, Northern India and all that. And we'll talk a bit how Malaysian cuisine today is influenced by so many different cultures all over the world. So that's why in Tourism Malaysia, being the ambassador to Tourism Malaysia, I always go all over the world to cook, and we always share the history of our culture as we say Malaysia truly Asia. Yeah, because a part of us is a part of just about everybody. Yeah, so that's why today the world is getting smaller and smaller, and you notice that, you know, we live in one melting pot and everybody is inside the pot. Yeah, so how wonderful is that? So I always believe, you know, food is about connecting to people. Yeah, very important. Am I right? Food is about connecting to people.
I always believe that food can unite people from all walks of life and culture. When we sit together to eat, we promote better understanding and harmony. Food brings love.
Absolutely.
Food brings peace, and food brings peace and compassion to the table. And I thank you for these words, Chef Wine.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's why today we live in this world where food connects everybody, and that's what we see tonight. Yeah, and it's so lovely to have Qatar Airways to fly me over here, because again Qatar is also connecting everyone around the world, and we are very happy to associate with them. And of course today this recipe is brought to you very special. Now my assistant Nojan here, who's been with me for the last what 25 years. Yeah, that long, yes. And of course she has asked me 3 times 4 times to marry her, you know. Yeah. She's married 4 times. It's a little bit also a bit Indian and a bit of Pakistani blood, so that's why Malaysian has a bit of that as well. And on my side is Chinese, my great grandfather is Japanese, I have also a bit of Indonesian blood in me, yeah. So that's why you see Malaysia has a multi-racial there between Chinese, Indian, Malay, and many ethnic groups. So what Nojan is doing here, if the camera can show up there, he's frying here some onion, just yellow onion with a bit of whole spices. We call it cumin. We have also here cardamom, cinnamon. So this is a very basic, what we call a bouquet garni, to fragrance the dish. So we're frying it so that the onion turns very nice and golden to make this kuzi kambing. Now kuzi kambing or lamb kuzi originate from the state of Johor, down south. This is part of the palace cuisine, and it's called cuisine de la Royale Malaisie, part of the royal cuisine of Malaysia, and it's very popular. And first we saute the onion, cook it and caramelize, because the caramelization of the onion gives the cuisine that nice aroma and sweetness, because onion has sugar again. So when you cook it and it breaks down the sugar, and of course from that sugar it lands that beautiful aroma and flavor. So once that's done, the next thing we're going to do here, we're going to saute some onion paste here together with ginger, garlic. So we cook this really high up, and then to that we need higher. When you go on stage to cook in such small but the stove here, they drive me nuts, because especially when you have to control the heat. 1 minute is warm, another minute is not too cold. So now next we're going to add here also a paste. So what we have here is basically green onion, mint, as well as parsley, and we call it also coriander powder. So everything is into a paste. Coriander leaf. Everything is turned into a paste, and then we grind them like that, and this gives that nice aroma. Higher. You can see it's not boiling there. So this paste gets to cook, and then to that we're gonna add in some chili. In Malaysia, we love our chili. So we use fresh chili, we use dry chili, we also use the bird chili, to spice up. So there's many kinds of chili, and chili also when you use in certain amount of amount in your cooking, it gives you the degree of spiciness, as well as also a nice wonderful color, aroma. So that's why it's important sometimes to coordinate and use many kinds of chili. So for example, we have fresh chili, we have dry chili here all together, and then in many of our spices later we're going to talk about the laksanyonya, we use many other fresh like galangal, lemongrass and all that. So to this I'm going to add in my chili paste. So we fry this, and it's very important when you make kuzi to really cook it all the way down until really all the spices get cooked thoroughly. Because if you don't cook them thoroughly, you find that at the end of the process of making the stew, you find that the stew has less aroma, kurang garing. So that technically when you cook Malaysian cuisine, very important, to really render, slow cook down, so that everything really goes and cook, into really nice aromatic flavor. So what you see up there is a lot of steam going out, because when we grind, we put a bit of water, so the steam has to really evaporate first. This is where when you learn about the chemistry of cooking, what's happening here, it's all going up there until such time when most of the water is evaporated, and then the spices start to toast. So that's why in a typical northern Indian cuisine, they do the same thing as well. They call bunu. Masuk in the wok, and they stir and stir and stir until such time all the spices get rendered and cooked properly. So that's why it's very important, to understand the technique. I have 9 restaurants in Malaysia, and we just won the Michelin Star Beef Gourmand Award. And to win that is hard work, thank you. And we also won Best Malay Restaurant, and we also just won Restaurant of the Year. So I'm very happy to do that. And of course, a lot has to do with my effort also teaching people to cook in the right way. Very important. I've been a culinary ambassador for Tourism Malaysia, Malaysia International Trade Board, Malaysian Airline, as well as also a celebrity chef for the last 33 years. So that's a long time. So I'm ready to retire now. So anyway, so you see that we are stirring and cooking. So you can see the chili coming up together. At this point of time, we're going to add these wonderful spices. So what I have here is a bit of fennel powder, a bit of cumin powder, and some black pepper. So all these spices. So as you see in Malaysia, in many of our cuisine, we use a lot of fresh spices as well as dry spices. As I always said, what would the world be without the world of spices? Because they are the one who colors our life. Because we use them in cooking, we use them also in a lot of pharmaceutical products, also in cosmetic. So even in the ancient time, when the Egyptian, they wanted to preserve the body, they use spices, honey and all that. So that's why I always said, we are so lucky to be blessed with a lot of wonderful spices. And Malaysia's cuisine has lots of it. Because you must understand where we are located, Malaysia, in the peninsula. So we have, people coming from just about everywhere, from the 11th century, 12th century. Relatively speaking, we are quite a new country, history-wise. So when you notice from 11th, 12th century, many traders come. The Gujarati merchants, the Turks, the Arabs, and then we have the Chinese, Indians, Southern India. So that's why today, a lot of our cuisine has many aspects of different cuisine from the whole of Asia, basically. Not just South Asia, Asia. And don't forget, Malaysia also is located, our neighbors like Thailand, Indonesia, So that's why many of that also goes into a lot of our cooking and style of preparing dishes. So as you cook here, and I always say, to be a good cook, to be a good chef, you must be able to trust your nose. Nose is very important. Bila masak. So make sure you put the right thing into your nose. And don't always pick your nose lah. Korek hidung tau. Jangan nanti destroy. So leave your bloody nose alone. So the nose is for smelling. And don't smoke also if you're going to become a good chef. Because it ruins your tongue. I don't smoke at all. So that's why my tongue is good. Because I can tell, when I cook, the balance between sweet, sour, spicy is so important. That's why Asian cooking, you notice, we rely a lot about all that in terms of aroma, the smell, the sweet. And that's naturally as well, we use also a huge variety of spices. So for example, we also use this pandan leaf, lemongrass. This is to give a bit of aroma inside. This is pandan. If you don't know that, today the word is Google lah. Google lah. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to put some pandan leaf here. So as we're doing that, in this dish as well, in this cuisine, we also put some resin. You need to soak the resin first, black resin. So by the time we finish cooking the process, the resin is going to fall apart. This is resin, grapes. So imagine, when we're talking about Asia, we don't even have grapes. How did grapes arrive to our shore? All these spices, Indian, Arabic. So that's why you notice all the dried fruits. We also use nuts. We use almond in some of these dishes. For example, today. So you notice a lot of almond goes inside. So it's very nutty. And then the lamb goes inside. So a bit of here and a bit of there. So that's what makes Malaysian cuisine beautiful. So as she's stirring there, I'm going to add in my lamb. So there. We use here leg of lamb, boneless, boneless leg of lamb, chunks of them, throw inside. Tu dia. Nak masak kan Malay dia macam celaka pergi kuali besar dia tau. Sakit hati. Next year, if they don't give me a big pot, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to strangle them, Because as a chef, you need proper cooking utensil. Because what we have behind there is like macam ni je. When I cook, when I do cooking demonstration, I like to cook a lot. Because I like to feed everybody. I like to be generous because all twerking, all standing. So I like to do a lot. Sedekah. Bagi orang makan. Dia bagi aku kuali macam aku carut dia. So I better be careful. I better be careful. I not curse because otherwise I don't get invited again. But anyway, Qatar is such a beautiful airline. They won 7 years, the best airline in the world. And they asked me to cook for business class. I'm so happy. So I'm going to change on the menu and all that and to make it even better. So when I flew on business class, I have all these guests coming to me saying, "Oh, Chef Wan, thank you for bringing all this Asian food into Qatar. It's so delicious. We love you." Amboi, si bakul lah kat sendiri. I was just praising myself, yeah? Too much. So at this time, we render masani, and then to this dish, you know, we're going to also add yogurt. So imagine that yogurt does not come into our country because we are tropical. Yeah, we use basically coconut, kan? So we use coconut, but in this cuisine you have that. We also use condensed milk, susu, everything like evaporated milk as well, because it's not part of our cuisine, but it's a cuisine borrowed from northern India, from Arabic and all that, all come together into this dish. But nevertheless, it's delicious. In a short while, I'm going to pass the dish to you, you know, and they're going to bring it around, and you can taste it. You can ask the boys to bring it out and leave here, and then can let them taste it. Look. So I'm going to add here the yogurt. See that? And to that, we put a bit of tomato paste as well in the cuisine. So imagine when you see all this, so lovely. Yeah, the sourness from the tomato, the sweetness, and then we have a bit of saffron as well. Saffron. What is saffron doing, kan? And it is, yeah. They use that also in cuisine. Now I learned this dish from the state of Pahang. 1 year there was a marriage, you know, between Tengku Muda of Pahang, yeah, and Juita from Singapore. The stewardess from SIA, they got married, and so they had this special wedding, what do you call that? The dinner banquet, yeah. So they have 38 whole lamb cooked in this big pot, giant kodrom. In fact, the whole, they build a tent and you see all these giant pot, and they cook the whole lamb. So the lamb is stuffed with rice, and they have pomegranate, they have raisin, they have nuts, yeah, and so into the lamb. And they took the whole lamb and cooked with all these spices and braised it for 7 hours until the lamb is nice and tender. And then they put the lamb on this giant copper tray, and they parade them, and they present it, and they carve it, and they remove the thread, cook out the rice, and serve them with this kuzi kambing. The way it's braised for 7 hours is so tender until the meat rapidly drops, yeah, from the, it's so delicious. So this is part of the Johor royal cuisine, yeah. And that's why today you're gonna try them. It's all here, so we're gonna pass around some of them and let them try. It's a bit spicy if you find it spicy, but you can always cut down. Yeah, the pedas, the rempah. You can cut down the chili, all that. So that's done. And now we're gonna move to our next laksa dish here. Honestly. While this is cooking, I'm gonna add it. What am I doing? Okay. So while this is simmering, I'm gonna add also, remove the water so that the camera can, the water should not be there. I'm going to put in also some evaporated milk into this cuisine. And we use also a bit of rose water. So imagine the flavor of the beef, kan? So many, saffron, rose water, cream, sour cream, very interesting recipe. And that's why it's delicious. And we serve this on board Qatar, business class, together with nasi telur from Terengganu. Yeah, and some achar is so delicious, some pickle as well. Yeah, fruit, chutney. Yeah, nice and sweet and all that. So next, we're gonna make our laksa. Turn that on. Any questions while we're doing this? If you want to ask anything, please do so. Now, this laksa nyonya in Malaysia, if you go out to eat street food, my God, there's so many kind of noodle. I would say hundreds of noodle. You have the Indian mama, mi mama, all the Indian style. We have the typical Malay noodle. We have the Chinese noodle. So imagine, so many ethnic, to choose. So when you go out, they're so cheap. I just met a few people from Australia. They say, I love Malaysia Chef One, because when we go out to the street, we can buy so many noodles for a small bowl, and it's so delicious. Yeah. So that's why today I'm going to feature one of my favorite called laksa nyonya, which we also serve on board Qatar Airways on business class. Yeah. So today, this dish is from that recipe. Now this is very, very interesting dish because it comes from my great-grandmother. Yeah. So Nojan knows, she met my mother. She just passed away about, now it's like 2 months ago. She died at 90 years old. My great-grandmother died 98. Yeah. And then my grandmother died 96. My mother died at 90. And I'm 65, have yet to die. So you see, we all in so many generations. And my son is also a fabulous cook. He's 45 years old. So imagine this recipe is passed down to 5 generations of the laksa noodle. Yeah, it's lovely. So the first thing we need to do here, you're going to make the laksa noodle a paste. So the laksa paste here, we're going to do here. Heat up, man. These are all the common paste. We use dried chili, we use galangal, we use lemongrass, we use also all this lime leaf, yeah, to flavor the laksa. Of course, there's onion, there's garlic, there's ginger, there's also candle nut with buah keras. Very typical, Indonesian cuisine. Use a lot of them as well. As you see there, they look really like a bit like macadamia nut. Yeah. So the whole idea of the buah keras give that wonderful creamy flavor to the laksa. So it's a noodle soup with a coconut base. Yeah. For all the spices you need to grind them. Lemongrass and all that. We have chili, 2 kinds of chili, and then we put some coriander. So all into a paste. Where's that paste? So you see there. And in the paste, heat up. So this is the paste. So this is how the paste. Can you see that? Can you see that? Yeah. It looks like a poo, kan? Like a cow poo. Yeah? And it's so delicious. Even having this paste, you throw in coconut milk, you throw in a variety of vegetable. Jadi apa tau? Jadi sayur lodeh, lontong. The same paste like this, like yesterday, we throw in chicken, we put in the krisek, we put in the turmeric leaf, it become ayam rendang Minangkabau. How wonderful. So sometimes I have this master paste, I just rub with the fish ikan bakar. Pun boleh, bukan asam limau. And that's it, it's so delicious. So the same paste sometimes, I grind the fish paste, I put a tablespoon of this or 2 tablespoons daun, put in a banana leaf and bake, jadi otak-otak. Tengok pada otak aku. Okay tak? So that's why, genius. You can do all kinds of things with this paste. Master paste. And don't worry, if you need a recipe nowadays, you just Google. You Google a chef one, it's all there. You go to the Asian food channel, all these recipes there. Yeah? Don't worry, you get it. So now we're going to heat up this paste. So the first thing to make this laksa, what we need to do here, we're going to need to cook the paste. Masukkan jangan. I pre-cook that. The paste. So once the paste goes in, we're going to add in the coconut milk. Senang saja. But to this, we use also a lot of prawn dalam dish ni. It's a fresh prawn, udang. And because Qatar Airways is very rich, they sponsor, I buy a few kilo for all of you lah. In Malaysia, I only put half a kilo lah. But here Qatar as a chef one, I say 3 kilo. 3 kilo prawn, So today you'll be having really delicious, because we have a lot of prawn meat here. So we throw the meat inside there, together with all the paste that already been pre-cooked. Is that cooked thoroughly? Because I didn't want to waste a long time. So I told Nojan to cook this first. Kita check. Boleh. Yeah, of course you can serve. Of course, rajak aku. Okay, and then we put the prawn paste, So we put water a bit, otherwise it becomes lump. Pancur air gaul sikit, tangan, otherwise it clumps. A bit water, stir it and put inside there. Kacau dengan sudu, jangan kacau dengan tangan. Stir first, mix up all that so that it becomes a bit watery and throw them inside. So because it's a seafood base for the laksa, you notice for the laksa, we also use inside there coconut milk, kita masuk. We use seafood, in this case prawn, and inside there we have dried prawns as well. So no, we have some more. We have a lot from behind there.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, there's some more. There's some more. Don't worry. Taste this. High heat. Higher. So once all the paste goes here inside, the next thing we're going to do, sedap tak? Tekuti, pedas sikit lah. A bit spicy, but you can tone down a bit down, And usually when I serve this, I will put some chopped pudina, mint leaf, because we're running out of it, to really make it nice. So lovely with rice pilaf, nasi minyak, and all that, nasi tomato, goes very well, So now we add in coconut milk inside the paste there, to laksa, and water, and bring it to boil. So it's such an easy recipe, and to that we use a variety of herbs here. Where's my bunga kantan? Semua you chop. You didn't leave anything left to show to them. I told her yesterday, leave some of my spices so that I can show the audience how the ginger torch look like. No, she chopped everything. Habis dia potong semua. Dia makan darah aku dah. Makan darah. Kau orang Malaysia kenal lah, orang lain kenal ke? Jawablah tak, bercili pula kau. We have this love-hate relationship. You know, she's been with me for 20 over years and still she doesn't get it. And I keep telling you, I brought them from my garden. It's a beautiful ginger torch. Anyway, I'm going to put this ginger torch here, or chop here. They give it a nice aroma. We have also daun kesum. This daun kesum is actually also very important for the laksa as well as mint leaf. Daun kesum pun tak ada lagi habis semula. Lepas saya cincang bagi kat dia lah. Sebelum aku cincang dia. So you see, we use a lot of herbs. In Malaysian cooking, you know, herbs is very important because it also gives a lot of, you know, medicinal value. Yeah, some of the herbs helps to what helps, you know, digestion, colic. If you have air, senang, you cannot fart. Some of the herbs helps you to also fart all the time. Yeah, so that's why, you know, the Malaysian herbs is very, and even some of the herbs that you find induce labor. People who cannot deliver very hard, you give them one drink, you boil all those kacik Fatimah, and they take it and they just deliver, and they just go to the toilet and they baby come out very quickly, very easy. No problem with labor. That's why you notice Asian, we have many children. Especially you live in the jungle, there's no hospital, no problem. So after they drink that water, mommy, go to the river, stand there, mashallah, second, come on, very easy.
I thought maybe more waterfalls.
No, like waterfall. So that's why, you know, and of course the famous Tongkat Ali, yeah, our original Viagra. Yeah, we don't need Viagra, we go to the jungle, we get the Tongkat Ali. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so now we put in also some fish ball. These are fish ball, but we cut smaller like that. Yeah, so we have prawn, fish ball. And then we also have here tofu, yeah, in the laksa, tofu. So all goes inside. See, I love this recipe because everything you just throw. You throw it, you know, throw. That's it. There. And then more leaf goes inside. Da-da-da. Salt. The sugar too. It drives you nuts. Nak tunggu dia nak mendidih kan macam besok pagi, tomorrow. Because the steam's gonna. Ni high dah ni. It will get there. See how beautiful the cuisine is? It's coming through now. Dah masuk garam dah belum?
How spicy is it, chef?
Huh?
How spicy is it?
Did you try just now? You didn't try. Is there any more? Oh, you should try. Bring some more. Don't hide. Bring some more. Oh, come on.
It's spicy.
Dia takut pedas. Okay, in this laksa, we throw also some dry spices. We do ketumbar. Yeah, daun ketumbar. I'm going to try to smell which one of them is ketumbar. Coriander powder.
Looks delicious.
Yes. All there. And then lastly, we also have whole prawns. Yeah, whole prawns like that. Tadi yang dah chop for the flavor, kita masuk udang lagi. So
Did you marinate it with something, chef?
No need
Okay.
marinate. Yeah, because the prawn is sweet, flavors, everything comes. Doesn't need to marinate. Don't put all this leaf like that, no, just clear. Because the whole world is watching how filthy the kitchen is. Now, in this cuisine, lastly, which is also very, very important, is to put fried shallot. You cannot make a good cuisine without a lot of fried shallot. Yeah, so you slice bawang goreng ni banyak-banyak. Sometimes, for example, if you're going to do 3 kilo of lamb, you need 1 kilo of shallot bawang goreng, because that's the one that flavor the cuisine and give it that nice body richness and all that. Yeah. So I'm going to throw this inside and sprinkle this. And sometimes during the cooking process, you find, you know, when we use the cream, it starts to separate oily. You can always, you know, remove the oil. Yeah, you can always skim the fat. Like most Indian cooking, Arabic cooking, we use a bit of fat there. Skim it out. You know, skim it out so that we have less fat. You know, inside there. So the laksa is simmering here. I need more water because it's too thick, the santan here. Look at that lovely colored chunks of that. Yeah. And I love laksa. When you have more people, you put more water. You put one pail. Then you have more people arrive, you take a hose and just done. That's it, you know. And the rest, but you can balance putting MSG lah. That's it. But I don't do MSG. In my restaurant, everything is original. No MSG. We leave this to boil, and the laksa gravy is so delicious. Yes, we're gonna add them because in a short while we're gonna serve that. So you can put all this little daun here inside here. You just sprinkle a bit like that, okay? You cannot have laksa without mint. You cannot have laksa without all that. So sprinkle, sprinkle. And then we have a bit of sambal on top of laksa juga, yeah? So the sambal is very simple. We use belacan, shallot, a bit of garlic. We use dried shrimp, yeah? And then you blend everything, dried chili, belacan, shrimp paste. That's it. So all put together, and after that you saute, yeah, the paste, and then of course you get the sambal, and that's a topping on top of the what do you call that, the laksa nyonya. And always serve also with a bit of lemon or what you call, or sometimes we use the calamansi lime. But in this case, you know, I don't have to bring a lot inside here. We'll just put everything inside there. We're gonna squeeze this, and then you know, so that the sauce is ready. Tak payah nak berperah lagi dah. Ya, biar aku perah kat sini. Any questions, soalan about the recipe? Because I have to wait for that laksa gravy to boil. Ya, kalau tidak makan saya perut lah. Yeah, so we need to wait for that, otherwise you get stomach upset. So when you notice our cuisine in Malaysia, when I was saying that, people are sometimes a bit confused. What is Malaysian cuisine? Because they didn't know, is it Chinese? Is it Indian? Is it Melayu, Malay like us, you know? So people is confused. But actually our cuisine has a lot of everything. Very mixture of a lot. So that's why we notice that sometimes, even some of the Indonesian cuisine we borrowed, we've perfected that. Some of the Thai dishes, we perfected that. Yeah, so that's why you notice a lot of complaints of that. And just like any people you ask have been in Malaysia, they will tell you, I love Malaysia because food is cheap, food is so delicious, and there's variety of that.
Yesterday you said something which is very nice.
Yes.
That you use everything from land. And,
fresh,
and you put in the pot.
Yes.
You don't make anything to waste.
Yeah, ours is fresh. You know, you notice we don't wasting. Yeah, because Malaysia is surrounded by beautiful ocean, so we have great variety of seafood. So we grill them, we steam them, you know, many styles. You can do Indian style, Malay style, you can do Chinese style, many varieties. So you choose how the way you want it to be prepared. Yeah.
Or we can put them all together in one.
Can also, Roger, right? No problem. Why are they making so much noise that I'm talking?
They're going the other way.
Thank God they're going the other way.
Don, you're just gonna pour them over there?
Yes, we're gonna pour all inside here the soup. No, just gonna do final tasting, and that's it. It's finished. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why Malaysia have 13 states. Yeah. So every state from the north, south to the west are influenced by many of their neighbor. To the north we have Thailand. So that's why you see North cuisine. The food has a bit of spiciness, coconut. And then you go down to Terengganu, Kelantan, also a bit of that, down the east coast. As you move down south, you have a bit of Indonesian. From Padang, from Negeri Sembilan, yeah? From Padang, our neighbor. Because in those time, 11th, 12th century, many traders come to our shore. Let's not forget, Malaysia was a trading port. Yeah, we traded spices. If you study history about the Silk Road, the Spice Route, yeah, Malacca, for example, once that, you know, is rich in those days, you know, as a trading post. So that's why, you know, this many culture comes arrive to our shore, and then, like I said, even from the 1511, you have, for example, the Portuguese that come here to conquer Malaysia. Then we have the Dutch again arriving 100 years later, 1611. So after the Dutch came in, yeah, but not much influence. Portuguese, yes, we have a bit in our cuisine, especially from the Kristang cooking in Malacca. So we have a bit of Portuguese influence in that cuisine. Then of course, we also have Chinese that arrived, that married local Malay, and then they start to form this peranakan, or they call it straight settlement cooking, which is this laksa comes from my grandmother. Because part of us is part Chinese, part of us is part Malay, so they marry, and they also prosperous, they do a lot of business in Malacca and all that, and then they form this peranakan. So the way they dress, the ladies also very nice, and they're called nyonya, because they wear kebaya and all that, beautiful. What heck?
You are!
Who's the chef?
You are!
Yeah. Anyway, I am today's my last day because I'm traveling to Egypt, what do you call that, Istanbul tomorrow. I'm filming my new series called Food on the Silk Road. Nice. And after that, we're going to Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Gohegostan, Kakistan. Yeah, all there we're going to all those countries.
All stan.
All stan. Gohegostan, Kakistan. Okay, now we're ready to serve the noodle. Yeah, put here. Dah tak apalah Jan. Sabar je lah. Aku nak kata apa. Kau ambil senduk lagi 2-3 orang boleh serve je. Jangan kau dingin macam patung macam mana. Ambil senduk kat dalam. Tinggal dulu. Because all these people dah berdiri berjam-jam. They waited so long, poor thing. You know, we must feed them. Ambil senduk dalam. 2-3 orang boleh serve. Ambil senduk. Okay, this I must give the Qatar boss to serve lah, because otherwise I can't fly, you know, they don't send me back home. Bagi, get all the boss Qatar dulu makan. Laksa. So you fly on board, you can taste it. Nice creamy laksa. Give dia jah, deh. Bagilah situ dah, dia jah lah. Ya, hilang. My boss. Okay, Jan, put the sendok, everybody can serve. Okay. Buatlah. All of us, 3 of us can serve. That's quickly, then everybody can have it. God, I tengok semua all this hungry, you know. Hungry ikan jerung. Okay. Because you don't want the laksa dry, you know, it has to be enough gravy. 2 sendok. 3 pun tak apa lebih. Banyak 1 tong ni kan. Any more spoon? What's that? You want one more? You want? Yes. They're the fine.